welcome back to another Candid Truth. It's your girl Leah J here. Okay, so happy Monday. I hope you guys are doing okay. We have a lot to talk about today. We're covering, as you can see by the title, we are covering the FBI prevented a plan on a terror attacks in Los Angeles, California. Um, we'll be talking about Rob Reiner's son Nick, um, arrested for possibly being a suspect to the crime. Ray J get on live and gets into a heated little debate with another YouTuber. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see. Let's see. First, we can get into this Rob Reiner situation. Okay, because this was interesting. So, Reiner, how do you say his last name? I'm probably saying it so wrong. Um, let's go right here to this one. It says on TMZ. Okay, let's say it. So it says Rob Reiner and his wife were found unalived, um, by way of their throats being cut open. LA County is waiting for warrants to investigate. Uh, but as of this morning, the son Nick Reiner was arrested in connection to their unaliving. Um, so apparently he had some substance abuse problems growing up and stuff. They was trying to bring up in the news and all that other stuff. They also said how he wasn't close with his father that he had also talked about on his own show and his podcast on his YouTube channel. Um, but we're gonna get into all of that. So at first yesterday they had reported it initially that they said there was two people were found unalived in the West LA house owned by Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle on Sunday, right? Yesterday. But it came to find out it was Rob and Michelle that were found inside that house. Because of the news, investigations broke out. A lot of people spoke out from Gavin Newsom and Sabine Newsom. Both gave out their, condolences. Let's see. But then, as of this morning, an exclusive broke out from TMZ. Well, not just really exclusive from them, because I was reading it on the news. This was like early in the morning. News development in Rob Reiner case. His son Nick Reiner has been arrested as of being held on a $4 million bail. TMZ has learned. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I come to find out this is not, I wouldn't be, wrong timing to say this part, but I hope he didn't do it. Because I would say what I want to say, but I'm going to be careful. I'm a segue. Because why he look, I'm just, he looks like he has no soul inside. I mean, that's the eyes of a, they said there's a look for a serial killer, a serial unaliver. And this man kind of looks like that. Oh, that was interesting. Let's check out what I know there was footage of here we go.
Yeah, if they want to.
Did you want it? Did you?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. It's Captain Mike Bland from Media Relations Division. As I discussed earlier with you guys, the chief has agreed to give you an update on the tragedy at the Reiner family home. Just understand this is based on some updates of the tireless work of our investigators from last night and through tonight. We're still at the very early stages of this investigation, but again, Chief's prepared to answer any questions and give you a brief update. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, Captain Bland. As he said, the information at this stage is still limited, but I'll share what we can. First of all, our hearts go out to the family and friends of the Reiners, a tragic incident. Yesterday at December 14th, about 3:40 in the afternoon, LAPD responded to a residence, the residence of Rob and Michelle Reiner, located in West Los Angeles Division. At that location, they found two deceased adults, a male and a female. Through the night, working with the coroner's office, they were able to identify them definitively as Rob and Michelle Reiner. We have our robbery homicide division handling the investigation. They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail. Pretty much that's what I can share at this point, but again, a very, very tragic incident.
Can you talk about, I know Deputy Hamilton talked about the search warrant.
$4 million bail is crazy. And if they put it at that price, that means they have a high suspect that you did it. Like, they put it to make sure you don't get away, because they must have some type of information that he did something for them to put it up that high. Like, why is it $4 million? I mean, it also is based off of what you can afford to. I guess he could afford that. Hold on, you guys. 1 second.
Can you talk about where that played a role in this and what you guys needed in order to gain access?
Yeah, we use search warrants to be able to further our investigation, as you know, on all of these cases. I wouldn't be in a position to talk specifically about what the object of the search warrant was, but it's a critical piece of our investigations to be able to ensure down the road a prosecution. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, if they want to.
Did you want it? Did you?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning.
This is a Sunday. You think Sunday would be peaceful? Ain't nobody out here on no BS. Ain't everybody's all good inside the house and in the hood. And no, that's not the case. No, they're out here wilding out, crazy, just doing things. Girl, I don't even know what to tell y'all, cause like it to me, it's the whole Hollywood sector, because sometimes the story is not always what it seems. The story's never what it seems when it comes to LA. Something happens and it's never exactly what it seems. And so it leaves us as viewers, as people who are just watching, kind of confused. Because by the time the end of it, we all either are right or wrong, or somewhat right and wrong. I ain't gonna call no allegations yet, but I would not be shocked if it was close to home, because I don't see that man having any problems with anybody.
Everybody, it's Captain Mike Bland from Media Relations Division. As I discussed earlier with you guys, the chief has agreed to give you an update on the
A notable man in Hollywood. Like, I mean, he made some big movies that even in history classes they play his movies. And a lot of history classes, even in film 101, like, you literally sometimes will run across some professors who would run his movies to you. wrong story, but my. So on other news, oh Lord Jesus, I'm gonna take a little pause and break before we get into the deepness of the tea. So let's talk about Ray J real quick. Let's talk about Ray J.
Do you want to work with Chris Stokes or do you want to just do your own thing?
Why are you doing that?
Do you want to work with Stokes or do you want to do your own thing?
Why you being a journalist like that, bro?
Because I'm trying to activate you. I'm
Right,
trying to put a battery in your back. Ain't
right.
nobody. Do you want to start a
I
tour?
be like,
This tour of the underdog tour.
Columbus
The
Short, you supposed to
underdog
be
tour.
my
I'm on.
friend. And I
Yeah, you
honestly
better
think,
have. I'm opening
to
for
keep
Ray
it
J.
real,
I'll open for you.
I think this shit is gonna go viral. And I
Pause. First of all, he's a journalist, and depending on how y'all met, that's not really no friend. I mean, granted, because most times it is also like you do want to be nice and you kind of got to create a friendship. So I'm not just going to interview you if I feel like we don't have any discourse that we can talk and have a conversation. So in some ways, you do have to kind of like be associates and respect each other. And I can see that. But y'all know damn well what they say. It ain't no friends in the game. ain't no friends in the game.
didn't want to do that tonight.
No, don't. But I'll open for you, bro. Because do you want to
I
work with Chris
didn't want to
Stokes or
go
not?
viral
Or do you
tonight,
want to
bro.
be
This
the
is supposed to be an
Do you
honest
want to be the boss,
conversation.
bro? Do you want to be the boss or you want to work with Chris Stokes?
Chris Stokes is my friend. Dead homie.
But I hope he's not a friend of the booty hole.
That's not okay.
No, it is okay.
That's not okay.
I'm
That's
tired
not
of
all right.
talking about
Well,
assholes,
I ain't
bro.
worried about
Hey,
Chris
Chris,
pulling up
Bro,
on
I'm
Pause,
you. I
bro.
tired
ain't
of
worried
That's
about
tired
my
to
mama.
now you talking about assholes.
For the people who don't understand, who don't y'all youngins, and everybody who ain't paid attention, Chris Stokes was this goes back to like this goes back was alleged to have touched, you know, or be on males and boys and get it was just it was I think that was yeah I think that was Chris yeah that was Chris Stokes, wasn't it? Yeah, B2K. This is the back in the B2K days. Like this is B2K. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, I'm trying to remember that song. Amarion, Little Fizz, um, J Boog, and who I forgot his other boy name.
Yeah,
You
just getting
that's
taken.
Columbus.
fucked up.
But it was legend. Him was in it. It was in the nephews and all the boys, and it was yeah. It was who Jesus. I can see why he kind of made that comment because you're working with Chris Stokes.
Asses are getting taken. They've been getting taken.
Wait, what? Ray J, you're working with Chris Stokes? Let me find out something. And we're gonna talk about it here on the Canada Truth. Ew.
That's your words. Asses
That's
are
the
being
biggest pause in
taken.
2025, bro.
Asses are being taken. They've been
That's
taken.
crazy, bro. Stop.
Asses have been taken, but my ass never got took. That's why I'm right here talking this real shit.
Your ass didn't get took?
Never.
Not one time.
Not one time.
Were you too
And that's why
successful?
they hate me because I didn't have no power. Because I didn't have no power. They don't have no power over me. Because nobody took my booty. I ain't never laid down with no nigga. I ain't never laid down next to no
Bro.
nigga. Ain't no
They
nigga.
didn't smack. So they didn't smack your ass one
And
time.
I'm smashed bitches with niggas. But hey, number one rule, nigga, we ain't swashbuckling. Do you want to work with Chris Stokes or do you want to just do your own thing?
Why are you doing that?
Well, he's
Do you want to work with
okay.
Stokes or do you want to do your own thing?
He's not working with him.
Why you being a journalist like that, bro?
Because I'm trying to activate you. I'm
Right,
trying to put a battery in your back. You
right.
don't need nobody. Do you want to start a
I
tour?
realize.
Oh,
This tour of
that's a big part.
underground.
But why would you want to work with Chris Stokes? Though? That's iffy word. That's like working with Aaliyah's dad. You know, Aaliyah's uncle. My bad. Excuse me. Might as well just turn around and go work for Diddy. Let's get on to the next story. So Jasmine Crockett clears up her stance on Israel. Apparently, there was let's break this. So, Representative responds to the criticism on social media as she's kicked off her run for Senate in Houston today, where she attended service at the church she attended during law school. After she spoke to the crowd and encouraged them to support her, Crockett spoke to the press outside. The Houston Chronicle's Jeremy Wallace asked Crockett about her position on Israel and attacks she's been getting on social media. Here's what she said.
I'm not endorsed by APAC. I never have been endorsed by APAC. There were people that were upset because there was someone that took a clip from an interview that I did during the vice presidential debate where I was in the spin room, so well over a year ago, and they intentionally cut the interview. I was asked about a supplemental package in April of that year, and I said I voted for all the supplementals, and then it cut off. Well, the supplemental package in April, which again can be confirmed just by looking it up, nobody has to believe my words, that supplemental package was for defensive help to Israel, as well as it was for money for Gaza, it was for money for Taiwan.
Hold on, it froze on me. Hold on.
I'm not endorsed by APAC. I never have been endorsed by APAC. There were people that were upset because there was someone that took a clip.
Okay, keep skipping on that one. So you know what we're gonna do? So basically, what she's saying is there are bills that she will come across because the Republicans do run the House. They also run the bills that are also pushed up front. Can y'all see me still? Can you just drop something in the chat? I don't care if it's a 1, 2. If you can still see me, they clear up. Okay, you did. All right. So pretty much, what it is, the Republicans do push the bills. They actually push the bills to the front, and because they are kind of like the majority in the House, it's complicated because there's numbers to the laws too, and because they get the vote, what kind of stuff goes onto the bill. They also run the House is who brings you the laws. They choose the vote on the law. It goes past in the House, and they go to the Senate. Senate also has to pass it too. Then it goes back to a final vote again, and the brothers Senate voted in the Senate, sent to the House, and then they finalize the vote. But if they're the ones who are also pushing the laws, they're kind of like she's kind of stuck in a bind of sometimes having to either they call them I forgot what they call it. It's like a 50-50 deal. It's like you kind of give some, you take some, and the best laws to vote on are the ones that are yes, it's gonna give both parties something, but also take away from both parties at the same time. It's very complicated. I'm happy I went to school. Oh my god. I'm just happy I went to school for it. Um, complicated stuff. So on top of today's news, oh my gosh, we just taking a break from the serious stuff real quick because we're gonna go back into it. Let's see what else we got that's unserious before we get into our serious. Charlemagne. So Charlemagne's contract, I didn't even think about that. So Charlemagne got a contract with iHeartRadio like back in like 2020, I believe. And his contract is almost up because it was only a 5 year deal. It's 2025, I believe, and his contract went in at 2021, I believe. And now that it's the end of it, everybody's asking will he actually renew his contract, and he avoided.
Be behind a mic. So as you mentioned, Charlemagne, it was 2020 when you started it, and I believe it was a 5 year deal. So your renewal is coming up with iHeart. Do you plan to renew?
You know what's so interesting about 2020? That it was COVID, right? And so being that it was COVID, like everybody that I reached out to said yes to the Black Effect Podcast Network, and that's why we were able to launch with 20 plus, 20 plus different podcasts. But that's crazy. You knew that.
I was gonna say, how do you know this?
Because when the press release says it was a 5 year deal, and the press release came out December 2020, and we're almost there.
Guys, Carrie can read.
Carrie can read.
That's amazing. You learned anything today? So I don't think you answered my question.
Yeah. We call that the weave, I learned.
The bob and weave.
Saw Donald Trump say that on Flagrant, the weave.
Answer the question.
So we don't know.
What it sounds like to me is he's possibly not going to be getting his thing renewed, or he's going to be venturing off into new ventures. I'm not going to lie. Yes, he'll probably be still doing. He'll probably renew his contract for just the Breakfast Club if they renew their contracts. Charlemagne might be looking to move on and venture off into other things. You got to realize Angela Yee and him both was there for a long time. Angela Yee left because of the problems that was already happening with the boys, and then now there's 2 girls on the set. The 2 girls are also taking over the show, and they do pretty good. So it's not far-fetched to say that he might want to venture off and go. He has a lot of other projects. He has a lot of shows. So he may just be just fine without renewing his contract. Just really honestly, he might be just fine without renewing his contract. And it's crazy to say that. That was 5 years ago. That's crazy. Hold on. I wasn't done with it.
Be behind a mic. So as you mentioned, Charlemagne, it was 2020 when you started it, and I believe it was a 5 year deal. So your renewal is coming up with iHeart. Do you plan to renew?
Unfortunately, Angela Yee was replaceable. Angela Yee was not replaceable. You see, she is what you call. So I see the comment. This comment saying there is no Breakfast Club without him. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Angela Yee was respectable, but was replaceable, and Jess fits right in. But they can't replace him. It would be no show. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He still would be on the Breakfast Club, so I don't see him not renewing his contract. I just don't think he's gonna renew it for that long. Another 5 years, probably another 3, maybe another 2. But I don't see him renewing it for that long. He's probably in the middle of negotiations, so he can't talk about it. What really comes down to it is the money. because they might be moving, and you don't never know because they might be moving the show over to another station anyway. And on the Angela Yee part, yeah, no, she wasn't replaceable. Jess and Angela both bring their own special characteristics to it. Angela and what's that other girl that's on the show? Jasmine. Jasmine and both Jess are like half and half of what Angela Yee had. They have two different sides. There was the comedic side, and then you have the professional, smart, and pretty side. Pretty and funny, pretty and smart. And together, that's why those two girls together makes the show what it is. It's the same with Angela Yee. Angela Yee was just a piece that had both of them in her. And so that's why you see they have to fill two slots. So Angela Yee wasn't just replaceable. They see they have to fill up some more slots to even fill in the void that Angela Yee left behind. And that's just keeping it real. I'm not even just like talking mess. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm keeping it a bean. I'm keeping it a stack. Okay, so let's segue into this other topic I really want to get into because this was interesting. So this morning, Pam Bondi. First, I'm actually physically have to. I actually have to mention her. I can go around this one. I tried. I try avoiding her name, but it don't work. Okay, let's talk about it.
Breaking news this hour. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Justice Department has foiled several planned bombings targeting Southern California beginning on New Year's Eve. MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Delanian joins us on this. What more are we learning from the Attorney General about this plot?
Good morning, Anna. This is a breaking story, and details are a little bit thin at this moment. But Pam Bondi is saying on Twitter that a group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front was behind these planned attacks. She's calling it a far-left, pro-Palestine, anti-government, and anti-capitalist group. She says they were preparing to conduct a series of bombings against multiple targets in California, around Los Angeles, we believe, beginning on New Year's Eve. And she says the group was also planning to target ICE agents and vehicles. And she said she praises the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in California. The FBI, by the way, plans a news conference later today to talk about this. I should say that a lot of people I've talked to have not heard of this group. There's not been a lot written about it. There appears to be an Instagram page with several thousand followers, adherents to this group. It remains to be seen exactly what this was. It comes amid a push at the Justice Department and the FBI to sort of identify left-wing terrorism as the major threat in the United States. You heard an FBI official the other day say that Antifa was the greatest domestic terrorism threat to the United States. And a lot of people I talked to in
Don't quit that. We're gonna cut that burn. Antifa. Oh my God, it's an acronym, okay? Damn it, that's not. Number two, yes, that was an anti-imperialist group. So why, I don't know why they keep splitting it up in the hood. Anti-government, anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist. That's just the that's the two together. Anti-imperialist. Yes, they are a group. They are actually. I found their Instagram page. I went through it. I have reached out. I have not got any responses yet, but this was all this morning, and also there was people also arrested. So I'm gonna get into that in a second. Let's finish to what he's talking about.
counterterrorism circles rolled their eyes at that and said they didn't know what that guy was talking about. Antifa is not an actual organization. This is apparently a real group. The FBI says there was a credible plot. We wait to see the court documents and the supporting evidence to buttress what these folks.
And the fact that they keep pushing it to be left wing, it's ridiculous because anti-imperialist is against all factions. Okay, they're against that. They're against that. They're not working with it. They're not. Their whole point. Let me show y'all right now because this is the Turtle Foundation's this is from their Instagram page. They have two. So this is their motto. It says, "Protest will never be enough." This is coming from the Turtle Island Liberation Front, right? We are against fascist colonizers. There are no morals for us to appeal to no sense, justice, or what's right. We cannot vote ourselves out of mass colonizer occupation. Sorry. The only way out is through resistance. Stop marching in parades and fight back. Free occupied Turtle Island from the illegal American empire. Free Palestine, free Hawaii, free Puerto Rico. Free the world from American imperialism. It's the only way to safe and peaceful future. So they feel like America, period, should not even is the cause of the problem. And it's funny because they also was talking about in a video. My mom also brought this up too. That America's not even in the Bible, which is interesting. They're not playing. They're not playing. We have lots of more videos to get onto who these people are. So before we even actually let's get into who these people are. So here's a video from a young girl that's also part of the.
So as many people are learning, Palestine is the true name of Israel, right? Israel was a creation in 1946 by the Zionists. It's the same with Turtle Island. That was what the original tribes on the Americas, before it was called America, it was known as Turtle Island. Because believe it or not, if you look at the map, rather from the top down, but the bottom up, you flip that map of the Americas, it looks like a turtle. And so that's what the natives called it. It's Turtle Island. So that's the.
So this is a group of people who are also fighting for the native right of this country. So basically, Columbus didn't discover. Okay, let's be real. I need y'all to stop teaching this in school because they need to tell the truth. There are people here before Columbus got here. Okay, and Columbus learned a lot from these people and took it back over to his seas and other things. And he also brought a lot of diseases with him over stepping on things and walking around. I blame him. But the natives of this country. So there were people here before there were, but a lot of them end up making deals with them. There's also native tribes that was also here, original slaves that hid off in places and islands off of Virginia in the woods and stuff. People don't even know about that. Was it Virginia or was it outside of South Carolina, South Carolina and North Carolina and South Carolina? It was like outside of that area. But basically, yeah, they're saying that they were robbed. They actually that the history that they're telling us is possibly not true, and that they flipped it. And he used to call this world Turtle Island because he lifted the world upside down. And it'd be funny if the world did take it and flip the map back the other direction, and that's why we think Pangea never happened, or we don't know the proof of this is because we're looking at it in the wrong direction. And so now we're looking at things because I can see a cold center. Because if you were to flip the whole earth upside down and look at it from an upside down map, the center of the world, if it was all together, would have been snow. Been a very cold center. and everything on the outside they got warmer towards the waters. That's interesting. Wow. Okay.
Decolonized name of the Americas, and Turtle Island Liberation Front is looking for reparations and land back for these indigenous groups in which the land was usurped. Many people think it's so far removed, but I have many comrades who are native.
So black, just as like black folks, it's like our reparations. They're fighting for what we are owed and what was taken from the cultures. So I see what they're doing, but these are not peaceful groups. These are actually anti-peaceful. So I want y'all to tell y'all before y'all. I didn't say I'm part of this. I'm not a part of that. I didn't say that. I'm just saying I understand. Again, I'm just clearly I'm new media. We're thinking and understanding. Okay. We are learning this together.
Native American and have stories of just their great-grandmother being put in residential schools. It's still impacting the most recent generations. It's not as removed as people think it is. So, land back today, for tomorrow and forever, land back.
So a lot of these are not even just Israel. There's a lot of the natives too. So people misconstrue what is the pro-Israel. It's like a lot of these are also natives, but they are also anti-Jewish. I'm not even gonna act like I didn't. Theirs is like violence is the answer for them. They're enough sitting around and just trying to fight it. So let's take a little bit more history into what Turtle Island is.
When I looked at North America, I began to see what what the elders were talking about when they recounted the story of the Turtle Island. This would be North America. There are 13 mountains in North America.
I understand what's happening. So
And this is where I
turned upside down. So this right here will be Canada. This is California right here. This will be Mexico. This means, and if the map was upside down, that means the property line would change. So instead of America being owning what's towards the South, Puerto Rico, and all that stuff, they would actually just own the water and Canada. And Canada will actually be the head of state.
come from, on top of this mountain. That would be in Quebec. And then you would have the Pennsylvania, New York State mountain. And then you would have Virginia. And then Louisiana. And then you would have Northwest Territory, Ontario, Manitoba, Colorado.
What they're saying is the map is flipped upside down. That California would have been where New York and stuff is at. And New York would be where California is right now. Florida would be a little bit more shorter. And what they did was take the map and they flipped it upside down.
New Mexico and Texas. And then you would have Saskatchewan, Wyoming, Utah, and Arizona. And Grandpa told a part of the story. He says that the turtle was tilted sideways a bit. And this would be the Rockies. So what we see as Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Long Island,
would be the tip of the mountains over you. Baffin Island would be the tip of that. Began to see the turtle here. And the tectonics would follow the marking of the turtle as well. So they had 6 rivers, which is part of the constitution of the Six Nation. The Six Nation meaning the animal nation, the bird nation, the fish nation, the plant nation, and the insect nation, plus the human. That would be the 6.
So if that is true, so this group honestly they're just looking for like justice for what they feel like was taken from them, you know. And there were people here before him. So again, I wouldn't say this is not true, but it's a developing story, and we're gonna dig into it some more. We're gonna keep up with the story. So now we learned a little bit about who they are, Turtle Island, and what it would look like. Let me see.
When I looked at the
Actually, and let's understand a little bit more of the political stance.
Are there things that Cuba and Venezuela do that are worth of criticism? Of course. Have they done things that we wouldn't want them to do, that a decent society shouldn't do? You betcha. They are not perfect. They are not the solution to the human problem. And they make mistakes, sometimes big ones, and they make people suffer. All true. All true. But you are no way going to undo 2 to 3 centuries of capitalist inequality, deeply ingrained in the consciousness of your people, by making a social change that has no blemishes, has no failures, has no cruelties. That's not going to happen. We might wish it, and I certainly do. And we might say it's important to point out the mistakes that the Cubans and the Venezuelans have made and are making. Fair enough. But once you understand the context, you will understand that the big problem facing Latin America is not Cuba and not Venezuela, neither of their regimes. They don't even have the history to justify it. The history is on the side of saying the big problem.
So basically, they're saying what the threat to the Latin culture would be America. All Africa to all the other countries would be America because we have the brutal history of taking things that don't belong to us. Yeah, slavery, Japanese internment camps, yeah, war, military. I'll give them a lot of reasons to look at this. And you got to realize other countries, like I said, it was an article I posted on my Instagram page. Make sure you guys follow me at Ziki_Sass. Um, and pretty much what it was saying is how other countries looked at us was like we are very like materialistic. We have a weird we have a culture but don't have a culture, but it's mostly influenced by the black culture sometimes. And they often find that we take. We're very stubborn. We're very materialistic. We're very we have a lower standard of value to them. We don't have a lot of unity, as we should say. And it was a lot. You guys should go check out that article. It's actually a really good one. It was actually an essay that was written by a college student from overseas. It was a pretty really good. It was a really good article. It was a really good article. You guys should check it out though. I mean essay. Yeah, check it out though. So now that we understand what their whole movement is about, let's go see what happened this morning.
Audrey Carroll, 30 years old, Zachary Aaron Page, 32, Dante.
Oh, they're listing off names. Okay. The FBI arrested 4 people who are alleged members of the extremist group, anti-imperialist group, in connection with an alleged terror attack plot in California. Officials say suspects were going to place bombs at businesses in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Ooh. See, they was gonna get rid of the heads, and that's why y'all hurry got rid of it, because they was gonna come. They gonna probably be Trump. Run. 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 Because why? Hey. So apparently they arrested all 4 of them this morning.
Gaffield, 24, and Tina Lay, 41, each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered device in violation of Title 26, United States Code Section 5861D. We intend to file additional charges in the coming weeks as we finish reviewing the evidence. The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, which, according to their own social media, is an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement that calls for their associates to rise up and fight back against capitalism. One of the leaders of the organization, defendant Audrey Carroll, helped organize an even more radical faction of the group called the Order of the Black Lotus. Each of the defendants charged today was also a member of the Order of the Black Lotus. Carroll described this group to her co-conspirators as everything radical. As detailed in the federal complaint, which we will now make public, in November 2025, defendant Carroll created a detailed bombing plot to use explosive devices to attack 5 or more locations across Southern California on this upcoming New Year's Eve. Carroll and her co-defendant, Zachary Page, led the effort to obtain and build the bombs and to recruit others to join in their plot. Carroll's bomb plot was explicit. It included a step-by-step instructions to build IEDs or improvised explosive devices and listed multiple targets across Orange County and Los Angeles. Carroll also made clear her desires. She said, quote, "What we are doing will be considered a terrorist act." Carroll and Page also discussed plans for follow-up attacks after their bombings, which included plans to target ICE agents and vehicles with pipe bombs. Carroll stated that those plans would, quote, "take some of them out and scare the rest." Throughout early December, the co-conspirators discussed their plans during an in-person meeting in Los Angeles and through an encrypted messaging application. As part of the plan, the 4 defendants plan to build test bombs in the Mojave Desert. In preparation for the plan, the co-conspirators purchased multiple pieces of bomb-making materials and discussed their travel plans to the desert. Last Friday, December 12th, the defendants took a significant step to carry out their plans. They traveled to the remote campsite, which you're going to see some video of, in the desert, and they began unloading their bomb-making materials to assemble and test the bombs. Audrey Carroll, 30 years old, Zachary Aaron Page, 32, Dante Gaffield, 24, and Tina Lay, 41, each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy.
This is crazy. But we're going to keep up with this story for real, because I don't think they really are coming after people, per se, but I don't feel like they're coming after leaders. Leaders for sure. Definitely coming after leaders. And with that being said, you guys, that was it for the show. You guys, it's the holidays. I hope y'all, got y'all stuff ready. If y'all was on my TikTok live, y'all seen the tree and some of the decorations I put up. There's more I'm gonna be putting up. You already know me. I want to thank everybody who was here, who is here, and we'll see you guys on another Candid Truth. Thank you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. But your girl, the accurate. We'll see you next time.